First off, I have no teleprompter to read off of, hence why I have to read my address, and sorry, I'm not a memorizer. But all the words in this address are written by myself. It is very honest and comes from the heart. So we'll start off with, welcome to the 2018 State of the City address. Good morning and welcome everybody. Thank you for coming and listening to my second State of the City address for 2018. 2 years ago today, I had the privilege of starting to serve as your mayor of the great city of Wausau. The second year has gone by even faster than the first, and there are many excellent things happening here in Wausau. So let's get started and talk about the positive things that have happened, as well as some of the things and the challenges that we face in 2018. This is not going to be a message of everything being all sunshine, rainbow, and unicorns. We do have some real issues facing our city, and this is an honest assessment of them. But if we continue to work, communicate, and unify together, the state of our city will continue to be as it really is right now, very, very strong. First, I want to send sincere thanks and to commend and congratulate our previous city council and council president, Lisa Rasmussen. I'm proud of the positive messages that I hear from constituents and business and community leaders on the way that the mayor and the city council work together and solve problems in a cooperative and respectful way. All of us have listened, respected, and worked well with one another. It did not mean that there were not disagreements or even passionate discussions in the issues that we saw regarding Wausau. There was. But this was truly a very productive and very successful city council. I'm really excited and looking forward to working closely with the new 2018-2020 city council and the new members and the veterans on the new council. Now, on several occasions in the past year, I've heard the following similar comment from both residents and from members of the local media when the discussion of transparency and the accessibility of myself, the city council, and members of our administration was brought up, and all of us working well together. It has been said on many occasions that the city of Wausau government is really rather boring now. I found this comment to be both amusing as well as a compliment, considering the previous destruction that was evident here at City Hall in the past, and you know what? I really appreciate that. One of the biggest issues we had was a difficulty in getting a full staff on board here in the past year at City Hall. I am now happy to report that number one, we are now fully staffed with department heads, and that number two, the culture and attitude of City Hall is now really considered by our employees, department heads, business and community leaders, and residents to be much more positive than before. The morale and attitude change that started in late 2016 has continued to be incredible. And speaking of our employees, our city is so very lucky and fortunate to have a professional, dedicated, and hardworking group of employees that take care of Wausau and its residents. I am truly grateful, and I love my employees, I won't say otherwise. I am truly grateful and appreciative of all of them for their efforts. And just as I stated last year, every day, I am always impressed and very proud of what they do and accomplish. I want to thank all of them for what they do in making our city work and function so very well. Recently, we had, and will have next week, 2 department heads retired from the city of Wausau, both of whom have been a big part of the city's and their department's success. Jeff Hardell, the chief of police, retired in February of this year after 38 years of service, and Bill Duncanson from the Parks Department will retire next week after 32 years of service. The service, dedication, professionalism, and the vision that these gentlemen had for their departments is truly appreciated. I thank both of these gentlemen for all that they did for the city of Wausau. And while they will be missed, we had the great opportunity of promoting our Deputy Police Chief, Ben Bliven, to Chief, and in the next 2 weeks we'll be making an announcement in conjunction with Marathon County and the hiring of our new Parks Director. We also hired Tony Vanderboom for our Human Resources Director, and Rick Rubo became our city assessor, both of whom have moved their departments forward in very positive ways. The Department of Public Works, under the direction of Eric Lindman, has once again done a great job of taking care of our streets, as was proven last weekend. Our infrastructure, and especially our frozen and burst pipes, the DPW continues to complete full reconstruction of local streets to replace aging infrastructure and improve aesthetics within the city. In 2017, 5 local streets were fully reconstructed with full replacement of water, sewer, and stormwater infrastructure. In 2018, 5 more streets will again be started. In addition to the reconstruction, work staff will be administrating an asphalt overlay and seal coating projects at locations throughout the city. The first phase of the Thomas Street project was completed, which has given way to new business development interests. And now, going in late 2018 and 2019, and after 16 years of discussion and debate, 3 different mayors, and 9 different city councils involved, we are now finally moving forward and advancing with the phase 2 part of the Thomas Street project. Even the critics of this project have stated in the past year the city of Wausau went above and beyond in listening, being respectful, and addressing the needs of those residents that live or rent in that area. We've had more public meetings where we listened and accommodated the wishes of those residents, including changing the plan designs, hiring translators, eliminating medians, and not acquiring as much property and homes had been originally planned. We've also conducted additional soil testing at city expense, as well as letting a small group of residents conduct their own soil testing at locations of their choice with no interference from the city. And though they have stated that they found some more dioxins in the top layer of the soil, we have been told by experts from both the state and the federal governments that deal with such soil removal and remediation treatment of such areas that the complaints and their findings are really an easy and affordable fix. And for the record, while I know that this has been a very emotional and very controversial situation for the residents of that area, I have stated on numerous occasions that if we find something, or if something was to be found that was truly dangerous and could not be dealt with in a professional and scientific way, I would and will stop this project from moving forward. Now, moving on to economic growth. Our local economy is going strong, and because of the low interest rates and interest from developers, contractors, and new businesses, as well as the old establishments here in Wausau, now is the time to act in order to attract just those above-mentioned entities to come or to stay in Wausau. To further move forward the vision of our city and what is needed, not just for the short term, but for 10, 20, 25 years from now. If this is not done, we will remain stagnant with no growth and will eventually fall behind other communities that are currently like us moving forward. If Wausau does not continuously and aggressively go after new business and new development, other communities will certainly do so. In last year's address to you, I had shared that both residential and commercial building permits continued to increase from 2016 into 2017. And 2017 closed as a record all-time high in building permit values with over $137 million worth of new permit values for the city. What is even better was that this record growth was very broad-based. I'm proud that we welcome a record number of new housing starts for both affordable and higher-end housing, as well as a record amount of commercial and industrial development. Yes, we did make a significant move in borrowing more debt, and while there are some residents that have criticized and even attacked the city for this investment, I want everybody to take note that our additional borrowing is entirely being done to move forward infrastructure and to complete long put-out projects like the Thomas Street and Riverfront developments. The investments made are clearly showing the success of this record of growth and will continue to do so. More positives here in Wausau. Already now in 2018, ZipRecruiter, which is an internet-based business site, has ranked Wausau as a top 10 employment market, a testament to our many corporate and business partners who continue to expand and grow in our city. The city is now over 700 jobs directly associated with development incentives, and in the past year, we have announced a series of other projects to add even more good, higher paying positions. I think we lost the microphone, okay, it's good. Supporting families and increasing tax base for our future. Right now under construction in our new business campus on the far west side is a new $80 million Great Lakes cheese facility. And with new businesses slated for development there in the near future, the ongoing expansion of Aspire's Wausau Hospital with the new cancer treatment, as well as our continuing Riverfront Park development, which by the way, recently has won several awards. It's won the American Society of Landscape Architects Merit Award and the American Public Works Association Best Project Award, both at the state levels, and just last week won the American Public Works Association Best Project Award in the Small Cities category at the national level. This park build-out will be completed this fall. The Riverfront office and residential development continues to grow and is filling with new tenants and is scheduled for a late spring, early summer 2019 completion. I'm also pleased with some upcoming major downtown expansion projects which will be announced soon. Folks, these are really exciting times for Wausau. In addition to job growth and commercial developments, The city's strategy to diversify housing choices continue to pay off with major new housing projects across the city. Our new River East Townhomes, Wausau's first set of row houses, is now rising on 3rd Street. Wausau's first urban high-end rentals are under construction at the urban west side on Highway U and along the riverfront development, which market analysis from 2016, as well as the pre-purchasing of higher-end housing in those projects, have been shown to be proven to support and demand for that type of housing. We've also added more affordable housing units with the renovation of the Sabo Supply Building and the Atrium Lofts. And just last week, we've recently had a developer, Blinker Construction, propose both market rate and affordable housing duplexes along the Thomas Street area. As I have previously mentioned to you, for Wausau to remain competitive, like any other city, we use incentives. This area on Thomas Street is not a land giveaway, as I've heard mentioned by some critics, but really an incentive. It is an area that obviously needs some type of incentive in order for projects to take shape there and make that area attractive to developers. It will bring an estimated $2.5 million for tax-based growth to an area that otherwise would just sit and remain vacant. I'm also happy to announce that the Live It Up Wausau program, homesteading program that was started in late 2016, which helps with low interest loans and getting folks into older homes that are then updated and made to be into nice homes, grew even stronger in 2017, with 30 new projects with down payment loans for homes and done with over 40 business partners participating in helping those folks into existing homes and updating them, which in turn increases tax base for the city and giving a sense of home ownership and pride for the families moving into them. Now, I'm also pleased to announce another new housing incentive program starting in 2018 called the Fix It Up Wausau renovation program, starting very soon. The Wausau housing market is certainly hot, with record new housing starts in 2017 in the city, yet low inventory of existing homes for sale in our prime areas, many of which have been unfortunately cut up and divided into various rental units over time that are just too expensive to renovate and can impact the whole neighborhood if not done so. Our new Fix It Up Wausau program offers very low interest rates, which will allow a homeowner to undertake a significant restoration of a property, renovate a historic home, and create a landmark for the neighborhood. If you're a homeowner or an interested buyer in a property that would benefit from our major transformation, please contact our Community Development Department at 715-261-6680 for details. Our community continues to grow strong. A year ago, we all came together to support our surrounding communities and especially our local law enforcement following the March 22nd tragedy, and we continue to do so. To Chief Ben Bliven, Deputy Chief Barnes, and all the members of the Wausau Police Department, I say thank you for keeping us safe and protected. We hosted a second meeting of the Mayor's Panel on Hunger and Homelessness, which I started in late 2016, and we brought in as our special guest the State Director, Joe Vogt, to talk about what was being done at the state level, and then to address and to bring further attention, awareness and ideas from our local nonprofit homeless and hunger advocates to improve our homeless population issues. We were also told by Mr. Vogt that we were the first city in the state that have ever had such a gathering with state and local advocates to discuss this problem and to find hopeful solutions. Also in 2017, I set up the Mayor's Business Advisory Panel, where now over 30 local business owners, bankers, and real estate professionals meet to discuss the pluses and negatives in creating and attracting new business and resident opportunities, and what can be done in order to make Wausau be better in promoting business opportunities for the future growth of our city. We also contributed to the design and completion of the new mountain bike park north of Sylvan Hill Park, which will contribute to our area's uniqueness and outdoor recreation opportunities. I have pushed hard to get long-standing projects and issues to completion. As mentioned earlier, the city finally completed the phase 1 of the Thomas Street reconstruction and has now started to move forward with phase 2. We ended a long-standing litigation with the Village of Maine, and just to update everybody on our legal litigation suits. When I first started as mayor 2 years ago, the city of Wausau was involved in 33 different lawsuits, as well as numerous work grievances and complaints filed here at the City Hall between employees and supervisors. Since that time, we have settled or won 24 cases, and now are only involved in 9 different litigation cases, and we've only had 2 workplace grievances or complaints filed in the last 2 years. we are definitely moving forward in the right direction in working and communicating with other individuals, companies, and communities in trying to resolve our differences before they ever go to court. Our culture continues to be incredibly strong. 2017 marked the city's year of local music and art, and the year was highlighted by such landmarks as the opening of the Museum of Contemporary Art, Mielke, in the former Wausau Club, and I might like to add, for those who like to criticize, with no city funding to complete it. The Wausau River District's successful Art Lives Here mural campaign was completed at numerous different locations throughout the city. Inaugural events like the Wausau Makers Market, the inaugural Sunday's River Valley Jazz concert series along the riverfront behind the library, and the first International Ginseng Festival all started in 2017. An amazing record year of programming at the Grand Theater, which rose in the top 150 theater venues worldwide, and the Lady Yucky Woodson Art Museum's winning the National Medal for Museum and Library Service, and congratulations to both Sean Wright and Kathy Foley's and their staffs in accomplishing these successes. Just to name a few of the cultural achievements in 2017 that helped make our city so very attractive and so very unique. We recently created and appointed members to a new Mayor's Arts Commission to implement various art projects and grants. The city has and will continue to be proudly supportive of these cultural milestones, and 2018 is now looking very strong again for our arts community. In 2018, I'm going to continue being very aggressive in repositioning difficult properties. I know it's hard to believe, but we do have them. This includes more proactive and aggressive redevelopment planning for the mall and the areas around the mall. And the city is ready to help reposition it into something different, but we cannot and we will not be the only business partner to do so. But with the right business plan, we will help out. We will also continue to work and invest in our urban waterfront, and we are working on an update of the River's Edge Trail Plan and plan on continued investment in housing and neighborhoods. 2017 saw the update of the city's comprehensive plan, and 2018 will include an update of the city's zoning ordinances to improve protections for our homeowners and our neighborhoods. In collaboration with the UW-Madison School of Planning and Landscaping, we have begun the visioning of the next phase of our riverfront work north of Bridge Street at the existing Wausau Chemical and Great Lakes cheese sites. In order to show what we are envisioning in that area for possible redevelopment in the future, there will be a public presentation that will take place on Tuesday, April 24th from 4 to 6 p.m. here at the City Hall lobby to share the initial draft plans, which continue to be refined for the 10 acres of new opportunity on our north riverfront in the years to come. In the early summer of 2018, we will also be going through an extensive facilities plan of our water and sewer departments to prepare for future improvements and rehabilitation of those facilities, which will be the basis for ensuring that the city continues to receive high-quality drinking water and adequate sanitation service well into the future. As always, we'll keep everybody informed of these developments as they happen. Here now comes the good part. And let me address the debt that the city has taken on. Truthfully, no matter who have been elected mayor or on the city council, we're going to have to address debt issues from before that should have been taken care of. The city had allowed itself to get behind on staffing, training, and infrastructure to the point where some points and items were critical and investments needed to be made. Prior to 2016, previous city councils were reluctant to take bold steps that were really needed. One challenge now facing the city is the increased debt load and the related downgrade by Moody's Financial Rating Services. I do not deny that the city's debt burden has been increased, but the good news is that the city is in a positive economic growth cycle. We are investing heavily in our riverfront, as are all riverfront communities throughout America, and developing future industrial sites in the new industrial business campus. The city, by investing in infrastructure, will be helping support business growth, which in turn attracts new business and commerce, new jobs, new residents, and a bigger tax base. Because infrastructure is the first investment, the city has to take a risk. The city's debt payments come due immediately, while it takes time for properties to develop. Moody's reacted to a new policy created by them of reviewing debt and related deficits and reduced our credit rating. But we are not the only community to experience such a credit rating downgrade. Other communities, including locally, have experienced this new situation as well. The city's AA3 credit rating remains a very strong credit rating. Interest rates have remained very low, and as the tax base and new development growth occurs, the city will revisit our credit rating with Moody's. Another financial factor rated by Moody's is the city's financial reserves, and we've continued good news in this area. The city has experienced budget surpluses in each of the last 3 years. The surplus strengthens the city's financial position and provides stability in periods of economic buildup and unexpected significant events. In other words, folks, we're doing fine. As stated before, this is a short-term investment in our long-term future payoff. And again, if we do not commit to doing what is right for the long-term economic growth of our city, we will be left behind while other communities grow at our expense. Folks, you have to have the hope, faith, belief, and especially the patience to see this through. Yes, it will take some time, but it really is the right path for us to take in order to remain strong and competitive into our future. And the vision of 10 to 20 to 25 years from now will be shown to be proven right. And for the record, it was a very well thought out plan, brought into the public's knowledge with approval by city staff, the city council, and the joint review board, who all agreed that yes, it was an excellent plan and should be brought forward to be implemented. Wausau continues and needs to continue to attract outside investment, embrace new growth, and be welcoming to new and diverse ideas, because if we do not, again, other communities definitely will. I really do appreciate the courage and the wisdom it took for city staff and for the city council to move ahead with this measure for our future. Again, the state of the city is very, very strong. And that's it. I'm really pleased with the progress of Wausau and how things are moving forward. Yes, like every other city, we have our issues, some that are very difficult, troublesome, and very complex to fix immediately, but we will continue to work together in doing so. We all live here by choice. The choice of good schools, parks, recreation, and the overall beauty of our region. We are big enough and yet small enough in comparison to other places, and it is honestly continuing to be getting better in so very many ways. Thanks to all of you for listening, and always know that I'm very accessible and open-minded from hearing from residents on any issue that affects them. Again, I'm very happy and very proud that we have moved Wausau forward in such a positive, peaceful, and progressive way. To my friends, my parents, my kids, Matt, Joe, and Taylor, and especially my best friend and biggest supporter, my wife, Sherry, who always loves and supports and takes care of me no matter what. I thank and I love all of you. Now we have a few minutes, so I can take some questions from either the residents or the media gathered here. And if you can raise your hand, my wonderful assistant Kathy can bring a microphone to you to ask your questions. Oh, don't make this so easy, come on.
Hi, what are your thoughts on all the Bonton stores closing? Wausau store was one of the first to close before it announced all their stores closing in Wisconsin.
Very respectfully, I'm not surprised. It's just a change in trend in retail today. For the record, the city has no control over that, even though I'm sure some people think we do. It's just a sign of the times. But in regards for Yonkers right now, that spot is being repositioned into something possibly coming there, and hopefully we'll have an announcement about that later on this year.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Tom.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for taking questions. I did have a question about the Thomas Street environmental issue, and I live on Thomas Street, as you know. If there was information in 2007 and 2008 from recent documents, and those are from both Earth Tech letters, now AECOM, and DNR emails that show that levels of dioxins both on site on Thomas Street factory, those were in possession by the consultants when they made certain statements which appear to be contradicted by these documents, and emails that show that the DNR emailed the Riverside Park dioxin results to the city of Wausau in 2008. in the spirit of transparency, will the city disclose those to the public and the media, and when might it do that?
Well, once again, this is a problem that we've been dealing with for a number of years. I think it's been more than shown that I try to be open and transparent and bring this stuff out. Whatever happened in 2007, 2009, not that I'm trying to pass a buck, but that was before my time. I've got to deal with the here and now. Obviously, we have some issues over there, but as I've said in the message, anybody that we have talked to that are experts in dealing with these items and things that are happening have all said the same thing, that it is an easy fix and fairly affordable. The bottom line is this, Tom, no matter what happens, if we find something bad there and something that shouldn't be there and something that does need to be fixed, I won't let the project go forward. I've said that all along, and you know, at one time I was a big supporter of yours. And I can understand, like I said, it's a very emotional, very controversial issue. The thing is, the experts tell us we can move forward. The thing is, we're gonna do it in the right way, legally, correctly, and properly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I would like to stay away from emotion, as you said, and just stick to the facts. If the DNR made inaccurate statements on the record, as well as city consultants, will you work with the neighborhood to rectify and clarify those statements?
I think it's been shown that I've been more than willing to work with you folks over in that area. I've been over there numerous times, talked to numerous residents, trying to find a workable solution for everybody involved. Even you have said that things have gotten better here in the last 2 years than before. I can't do it all overnight. It's an issue that's been there long before I was born, so.
Thank you for your courtesy.
No problem, Tom. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor. How is the process of trying to come up with a plan for vetting investors in, developments that are using city funds? How is that process going right now?
It is coming along right now. Myself and members of the council, Council President Rasmussen, as well as our economic team as well. In looking at it, there seems to be only one policy in place here in the state of Wisconsin, that's in lacrosse. That's kind of what we're modeling off of right now for that proper vetting. Again, this was something that really was an accident, and I will accept the responsibility. It's something that should have been looked at, but we were following the same rules as everybody else had in regards for that former investor. I think it's been shown almost immediately that investor is no longer part of the project. Draw your own conclusion from that. The thing is, we're gonna move forward and make sure that things are done correctly and properly, and that's already been started. Anybody else? Michael, right next to you, Kevin. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Mayor. Talking about downtown retail, you mentioned that there's no doubt that there's a change in shopping habits down there with the Wausau Center Mall. Obviously, that's been kind of a big issue. Where are we at on possibly, certain proposals for the Sears building, or possibly the future of the entire mall itself?
In regards for the Sears building, there is another theater project on the horizon. It will be coming to be talked about and possibly voted upon probably in May at this point. I'm not holding firm to that, we'll see what happens there. In regards for the mall, we've been meeting periodically with different representatives, not just of the mall and the management there, but recently we got to get together with members of WEDC, Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, State Senator Petrowski, Representative Schneider, and a lot of mall representatives and representatives of the city. We've gotten together, and the owners of the mall have said that they will have a new plan in position. Now, this is 2 months ago. They said they would have it done within 90 days. We were just told the other day that they are going to be presenting their plan here to the city in the next couple of weeks. Stay tuned. I've heard different things. And here's the thing, and to those critics that say tear down the mall, it's not that simple. The mall goes, where are we gonna replace that investment, if you will, in the tax base, et cetera. And as I said before, it's a very viable building. Personally, the retail sector, not just here in Wausau, but across the country, it's a different world now. That building will never be a full retail setting again. but I think it can be used for a mixed-use type of building. We'll see what happens. Anybody else? Well, that wasn't so bad. Oh, I'm sorry. Emily had to get me, jeez.
Unless you want a separate interview later, then I can do that too.
Whatever's easiest for you.
Okay,
It's all open and transparent, or we try.
there you go. Okay, so how would you, are you satisfied with how the sewage pipe overflow was handled and is currently being handled?
Well, again, and if you notice what I said, the frozen and burst pipes, that was my code for saying, yeah, we're fully aware of that. I cannot say enough. And you know, it's not just gushing, it's just genuine. Not just DPW, not just the police department, but all our employees and departments do such a great job. And in regards for that situation over on Sturgeon Eddy, when we found out about it, the problem was taken care of within 24 hours, people being there all night in the cold, and it got taken care of. The DNR did not fine us. The situation has been fixed, or it will not happen again. Without getting too much into it, this was not the city's fault. That's something that'll be determined later on. But again, they did an outstanding job.
In regards to the UW merger, UWSP wants to change the name to UWMC, to UWSP at Wausau. Are you against that change, and how do you think the merger will affect Wausau?
Well, unfortunately, there are continuing enrollment is down at UWMC in all the two-year centers. Obviously, we're gonna do what we can to make sure that we do have a presence in the UW system. As far as the naming, you know, I've made a suggestion, kind of simple, University of Central Wisconsin, but you know, that is what it is. We will maintain a presence. Obviously, what we're hoping is that we can get some programs up here from Stevens Point, so that this will be a go-to place to get a certain degree, depending on what field or whatever it is that you want to go to apply for it and get your career and your degree in. It's a transition. It's a fact of life that, you know, UW, while very good in so many ways, we've got some issues that need to be addressed. But yes, here in Wausau, we will maintain a presence. We have to. Anybody else? Okay, Matt.
Hey, Mr. Mayor. In the next few weeks, the city council is going to hear some presentations from some engineers and consultants who looked at the wastewater treatment facility. Are you frustrated at all that it seems like there's going to be, oh gosh, 15 million or more of improvements that need to go on there in order to actually bring that up to the standards that the DNR is going to set in terms of phosphorus limits that the city needs to meet on a daily basis? Are you frustrated at all that the city is going to have to spend that much money on something that may or may not affect the amount of phosphorus that it's sending down the Wisconsin River that much?
I don't know if frustration would be the right word. The way I look at it in my position, it's just another challenge that we have to take on through no fault of our own. Unfortunately, that's just today's world. Now, while those demands, if you will, are being brought forward by, say, the state, I'm sure and I'm hoping that they're willing to contribute to help in the cost. And it isn't just Wausau, but you know, I'm gonna go again to give our employees from the water, sewage, and treatment plants. You know, those facilities are close to 60 years old, and they've maintained them very well over the years. It's just a fact of life. It's just something we're gonna have to deal with. Do I get frustrated? Not really.
Do you think it's going to be tough to explain to residents that if they're going to have a hike on their water rates for, I mean, who knows how long? That could be a 20 to 30 year loan that the city has to take out on that facility.
Again, it's just one of those things that needs to be done. And I think most people, if you explain everything to folks, not everybody, let me clarify that, but if you explain to folks in an honest, direct manner, most people get it, and they'll realize the situation that we're in. And that's what we'll continue to do. Anything else from anybody? Okay, everybody, thank you so much. We'll see you next year.